Have you ever thought about sunshine, happiness, sadness, and depression? Well, I'm looking at the sun, and as the sun hits my skin, I'm producing serotonin, happiness chemical. As it does response and chemical induction in my brain, I feel happy as I look at the green, the blue, and vivid colors around me, and as I listen to the nature, the wind rustling, and the bird singing, and as that pelican dived and got a mouthful of fish in its mouth, I feel happy and it refreshes me. And most humans are made to do that, to be refreshed by nature and by the green and the blue and the colors around us. So this outdoor is there to refresh us. Now in the modern world, we have replace this outdoor with newer signaling mechanisms which are sometimes addictive in nature. So there are three compulsive addictive habits that we have which can sometimes temporarily replace this serotonin signaling mechanism. So we have glucose responsive mechanism where we eat sugars and glucose or other sweets that give us glucose response, which give us temporary dopamine signaling to the brain, which acts somewhat like the serotonin happiness signal, makes us temporarily happy, but asks for it again in 2 hours or 3 hours. That makes us hooked on to that habit. Carbohydrate, eating too much starch or carbohydrate is similar because carbohydrate is digested to glucose and then gives us a similar signal to the sugar eating habits. So this glucose carbohydrate habit is a dopamine signaling system to the brain that gives us this somewhat of an addictive behavior that gives us this signaling. Secondly, people also have the substance addiction. So the best example is cigarettes or other substances that people get hooked on to, which gives us dopamine signaling to the brain that then becomes a downward spiral of an unhealthy habit that gives you a temporary recurring habit that the brain asks for, becoming a chemical addiction in the brain that gives you a temporary happiness only to be requested again by the brain. And thirdly, the now so common habit in children and adults, which is the screen addiction, where a post is made or you watch something and a chemical reaction happens and you post something, somebody likes it, even a blank post, and somebody likes it, you get a dopamine reaction in the brain similar to a cigarette or a glucose substance being eaten, and that gives you temporary happiness, but then you need to keep repeating it, and that habit tends to be repeated over and over again, just like glucose or like a cigarette, and then lo and behold, we are hooked on to screens, breaking our sleep and getting hooked on to an indoor lifestyle, which is screen based behavior. So it's no wonder that humans have now replaced an outdoor balanced behavior with an indoor addiction based behavior that becomes a repeated behavior, because all of these are temporary hits in the brain, and although they may be equal to what I get outdoors, these behaviors lead to unhealthy results in the brain, because the repeated behaviors lead to poor exercise, as well as repeated dopamine signaling in the brain is associated with obesity and can be leading to diabetes and higher cardiovascular risk and even myocardial infarction. And therefore, my request to you, if you are caught up in this spiral, is to rethink life and think about a new balance in life. and think about bringing about a balance that will be much more healthier. Come outdoors, do some exercise, enjoy sunshine, and you will find that the outdoors will revive you, give you happiness, and will help you break this cycle, but also bring about health and wellness in your life.